I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through eyes covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel where we do talk all things true crime. If that's something that you're into, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, and if you appreciate today's case coverage, I hope you'll consider hitting the like button. It really helps my small channel grow. So I appreciate you guys being here. Like I said just a minute ago, let's go ahead and get right into what I wanted to show you guys today and what I kind of wanted to just to discuss with you guys. So we went over this in a live 2 or 3 nights ago. It's the new Airmail article that just came out about BryanKohberger. We've went through all 5 previous Airmail articles. They are normally longer. They're normally around 22 to 27 minutes, 28 minutes. But this one is just a 5-minute read. So I'm going to go ahead and read this to you guys here. And as I'm getting to the page, like I said, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. So let's get right into it. And don't forget to comment below what you guys think of this article. And we are going off of Howard Bloom. Apparently, he knows people that know the Kobergers. He's getting information that way. Take it with a grain of salt. He is just a journalist after all, you know. So it says The Eyes of the Killer, Part 6. More than 2 years after the murder of 4 University of Idaho students, prosecutors are ready to offer a motive. An Airmail exclusive. Want to kill someone? Hate will get the job done every time. But then again, the heart has many resources. And in a pinch, love is all you need. All along, this has been the big question. Why? Why would someone fervently enter an off-campus home just before dawn and armed with a hunting knife savagely murder 4 University of Idaho students? Since the grim events of November 13th, 2022, it has been a perplexity that has fueled considerable speculation. And now, a despairingly long 2.5 years later, with the trial of BryanKohberger, the 30-year-old criminal justice graduate student charged with the killings poised to start in August, a potential motive is at last coming into focus. And it's not going to be what you think. It provides the prosecution with a narrative that, like many of the lingering mysteries surrounding the events of that tragic night, has no kinship with conventional reason. Try, for example, wrapping your head around the disturbing fact that the 2 survivors were aware a black masked intruder had entered their house, had heard the accompanying tumult, yet waited 8 hours before calling 911, rising at about 7:30, and then feverishly away the morning on social media, taking photos and calling parents and friends. It is an explanation, a hypothesis really, that becomes credible only when examined through a different manner of cognition, the inscrutable workings of BryanKohberger's mind. At its root, it's a love story of a sort. Once upon a time, the yarn the state is hoping to spin begins. BryanKohberger was incomplete. Oh, he had laboriously strived to reinvent his life by the time he had enrolled in the master's program in criminal justice at DeSales University in Pennsylvania. He'd kicked his heroin addiction, lost more than 100 pounds, turned his body into a fortress through exercise, a vegan diet, and boxing, and made his way out of a dismissal community college. And yet something was still missing. Then he found his calling, forensic psychology, the new science of exploring the dark caverns lurking in the recesses of criminal minds. And as luck would have it, he'd also found an unlikely friend, a companion to guide him, Catherine Ramsland. A recognized authority in the psychological study of serial killers, a prolific author of, at recent count, 59 books, and a familiar face on true crime network and cable shows where she reliably brings a measure of academic gravitas to the proceedings, the professor had done it all. And as Newsweek first revealed at the time of Kohlberger's arrest, Ramsland was also his teacher. For a graduate class she taught at DeSales, he'd read her seminal works, Inside the Minds of Serial Killers, Why They Kill, and Confessions of a Serial Killer, The Untold Story of Dennis Rader, the BTK Killer. Yet what the prosecution discovered, which has not been previously reported, is that Kohlberger's relationship and tutelage with Ramsland did not end when he traveled across the country to enroll in the PhD criminal justice program at Washington State University. He remained her acolyte. Kohlberger had was allegedly emailing his old professor in the days before the murders occurred and in the days immediately after. What was discussed remains for now at least another mystery. Neither the state nor Ramsland has responded to requests for comment. Nevertheless, airmail has learned that just hours after Kohlberger's arrest, Ramsland allegedly telephoned his mother to offer her wisdom and guidance to help her former student and his family through the looming ordeal. Her offer to act as a cool-headed broker for the Kohlbergers was quickly accepted. The Kohlbergers supposedly refused to meet with their son's court-appointed Pennsylvania attorney until Ramsland signed off. Over the 2 years that followed, the professor allegedly stayed in touch with the family as well as Kohlberger himself, offering sources share practical advice to help navigate the often overwhelming intricacies of a stern criminal justice apparatus. She's even reportedly conferred with one of Kohlberger's sisters, who is said to be writing an insider account of their wrenching family drama. Yeah, she's writing a book. In fact, the Beleaguered family has asked her to consider accompanying them to the Boise bed and breakfast that Ann Taylor, the head of their son's defense team, has reserved for them during the course of the trial. For these facts, the prosecution has embroidered a still speculative account of what allegedly led Bryan Kohlberger, armed with 7-inch steel blade knife, into the house on King Road. And it goes like this. Kohlberger wanted to prove that the pupil was ready to become the teacher. He was determined to demonstrate to the professor, who according to this theory, was the idolized subject of his respect and affection, that he'd learned all her lessons well. And while her journey into hell had been judicious, reaching out in letters and interviews to convicted killers, he would charge full speed ahead into the belly of the beast. No passive arm's length academic posturing for this researcher. But even more, he'd kill and get away with it. He'd prove how smart he was. He would show how much he'd learned. And the hypothesis continued with the raging, crackling anger that was unleashed. Kohlberger would demonstrate to the object of his devotion and sacrifices he was prepared to make to win her comradeship. Like John Hinckley, who had tried to assassinate Ronald Reagan to win the heart of actress Jodie Foster, a woman he never met, Kohlberger was driven by his own twisted erotomania. And that's when we looked that up. Let's look it up again, just so I can tell you guys what it means. I think I'm saying it wrong, but at least I can give you a definition of it. It is a delusion in which a person believes that another person of higher status, like social status, is in love with them. So someone of higher status being, and it would be the opposite for him. He'd be the one of lower status to her, but that's what it means. Kohlberger, too, would let his demons run free, and in the end, he triumphed. His far vision would take him someplace where his mentor had never dared to journey, and in the proud aftermath, after all his struggles, he'd at last be complete. What does Ramsland make of it? She apparently is not talking. She's never responded to my emails. Nevertheless, she might find something in the theory. After all, in another episode in her remarkably accomplished life, she wrote her doctoral dissertation on Kierkegaard. It was that Danish philosopher who conceded that my writing should be considered a monument to Regine Olsen, a woman with whom he had a brief youthful relationship. Is it too far a stretch to consider that a killer's logic had made a similar heartfelt journey? Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Do you think that he could have been doing this? Could he have committed this murders for some sort of, for his teacher to say, look, I did well. I learned all I needed to learn from you, and I got away with it, if he were, in fact, to have gotten away with it. But if it is Bryan Kohlberger, he sure as hell is not getting away with it. And we're going to go to court in August. So We'll see what happens at trial. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. I want to know what you think about this whole case in general. Do you think Bryan's guilty? Do you think he's innocent? Let me know why you guys think that the way you do, because I just like to know other people's point of view. So thanks for being here. I do appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys all tomorrow, or tonight, actually, tonight on the live. It'll be at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I will see you guys all there. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.
Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell.